Over the quiz 1A. Who wants to start me off here? Nixon, let's go.
Can you cross multiply?
Okay.
So that was, so then I got 3, then bracket 3 and plus 5 bracket.
Yes. I'll just put those in brackets before we get going on the cross multiplying. Keep going.
And then it was equals and then 6 bracket 10 minus m bracket.
Yep, keep going.
Then I times them, so I got 9m plus 15 equals 60 minus 6m.
Yep.
And then I did 9m plus 6m, which was 15m.
Do that part in a minute. We'll just do them part bit by bit. And over here, 60.
60 minus 15.
All right, so 15m equals?
15m equals 45.
Continue.
So then I did m equals 45 over 15. And then m equals 3.
Good. Any questions on that one? Okay, B's the problem. All right, Maxim, start us off. Just wait till I get the question down first. Now let's see if you can do it with no errors. Let's go.
So you find the common denominator,
Which is?
12.
Yep, so we've got 3 denominators here, but 2 of them are the same. So the common denominator is 12. Okay, off you go.
So you do 12 bracket 2m minus 1 over 4 and bracket minus 12 bracket m minus 4 over 3 and bracket
Yep.
equals 4 over 3 times 12.
Equals,
4 over 3 times 12.
yeah, I'll just write the 12 at the front because that's what we're sort of been doing.
Yeah.
All right, continue.
So then you get 3 bracket 2m minus 1 minus 4 bracket m minus 4 bracket equals 16.
Okay, let's see. Now, who got that right up to there? All right, good so far. Continue.
And then you do 6m minus 3 minus 4m plus 16 equals 16.
Right, put your hand up if you got that line right. Okay, did anyone else make any errors there? No? All good. Perfect. Because the main error that gets made is this bit. Multiplying that out. And it normally gets made if you don't write your brackets down. Okay, because people are trying to do this 4 times this and they muck it all up then. Alright, because they don't have the brackets. Continue.
And then you do 2m plus 13 equals 16.
Yep, continue.
2m equals 16 minus 13.
Yep.
2m equals 3, and then
Yep.
m equals 3 over 2.
And that's your answer. Good. Okay, looking at number 2A. All right. What do we do, Zach?
So it'd be 10 times 5,
Yeah, and on the left,
2w squared,
continue.
and then
2w squared equals,
50,
keep going.
and then you do 50 over 2,
W squared
W
equals
squared
50
equals
over
50
2.
over 2.
Yep,
W squared equals 25,
yep.
and then you do w equals to the root of 25. W equals 5.
Who agrees with him? Really? Who doesn't agree with him? Dean,
What is plus minus?
put your mask up. Plus or minus? You forgot it. It looks like half the class forgot it. Now how are you going to remember that? When you see the squared, remember we're going to get 2 answers, plus and minus. So the moment that you're getting rid of that squared is when we've got to do our plus minus. The only time that doesn't happen, right, if you look back at year 8 that I was teaching Pythagoras' theorem to, everything they're finding is the length of something. Lengths have to be positive. So back when you did Pythagoras' theorem, if you did square root 25, it was 5. Because they're finding a length, and a length has to be positive. But with we're solving equations, there's no limit on what we're doing. We're not doing a length, we're just solving an equation. You have to have both answers to get full marks. Any questions? All right, we're down here. Nate, tell me what to do.
After 2b,
Yep.
you do product and sum. So
Yep.
product is 7, sum is 8.
Yep.
the
Positive 8, keep the signs for me.
Yeah, and then the factors are 1 and 7,
That's an easy one, keep going.
and then there's 8. You give the positive from the 8 to 7, and then the plus on the 7 is the same, so they both
Okay.
have positive.
So the highest gets the plus, they have to be the same sign, so they both have a plus. Continue.
And it's x plus 1, x plus 7 equals 0.
Yep.
And then x plus 1 equals 0, then x equals negative 1, then x plus 7 equals 0, and x equals negative 7.
Okay, now, somebody asked me the other day, do I need to do these lines here? Now, at this stage, if you want, you can leave those out. So if you can see from here, my answers are going to be minus 1, x equals minus 1 and minus 7. You can write them down, right, if it's an easy one. I don't want you doing that if the bracket says something like this, because we're going to make all sorts of errors if we try and do it then. So if it's something more complicated, you have to put your bracket down, make it equal to 0 and solve it still. But if it's an easy one, you can write your answer down. Zach, if I have to tell you about that mask again, I'm writing an email to parents. I did it twice this morning. Okay? So just keep it up, please. All right, where are we up to? This one. I'll just get rid of this one here. All right, who can tell me what to do for changing the subject so that A is our subject, Lachlan?
To get rid of the square root, you do p squared.
Right, get rid of that first. So we've got p squared, continue.
So then you get rid of so p squared equals a over m,
Continue.
and then you do m times p squared equals a.
And then just swap them around and you've got your answer. Anyone got any questions? Yep.
Doesn't matter what order you have p squared and m.
As long as you've got p being squared,
So I have p squared and m.
p squared m is fine. As long as the squared is with the p, then you're fine. Okay, who got 5 out of 5 today? All right, we're going pretty well. Good. Right, give yourself a mark out of 5, boys. Turn to the front of your book. We're doing a little bit more practice with changing the subject. Okay, copy this down. I think I did s equals 180 outside of n minus 2 last time, didn't I?
Yes, you do.
Yes, okay. Okay, copy that down. Now, if you think you know what you're doing on this question, you can start it. Okay, so we have to have the x is going to be our subject. Alright, so see what you can do. We'll see if you can get it out. If anyone needs to move to get around the video, then just move your seats. Okay, Darcy, what do you think we do?
We move the minus 3x to the other side.
Perfect. So when we've got to get the x's together. So that's what you're doing there. Keep going. X,
Plus 3x,
yeah, and over here.
5 minus y.
Perfect. All right, so the whole idea is if you're going to get x to be the subject, they have to be together first. So this is going to come over here, and of course everything else will go over there. Continue.
minus y over
5, well, I don't want the final answer yet. What's this equal?
4.
4x. Okay, now you can do your last line.
X equals 5 minus y.
Perfect. Does anyone have any questions on that one? All right, now I wonder if you're going to remember that process when we do this one. Because I've got a feeling you won't, because this is what happens in exams. This is poorly done. Copy this question down. And we're making A the subject. All right, let's just see how far you can go with that on your own. Have you finished, Nixon? Can you start us off?
Trying to figure out what to do.
Okay, stop thinking and start doing.
With you.
So if you're not sure, do something. So off you go, let's do something.
So we get x times a plus b, so x a
Yep.
plus x b.
Keep going.
And the same to the other side, so it would be y a minus y b.
Right. Now see, you're going to have questions when you get to your HSC where you're probably not going to know where to start. But the boys that do something generally get a bit of an idea what to do next. Sometimes they won't, but often they will. Okay? Now, so he's done that much, and that's a good start. Who can tell me what happens now? Now, if you knew how to do that one, it should give you a little bit of a tip. Nate, what do you think?
Would you take the YA across the other side and the XB across the other?
Okay, go ahead.
So it would be XA minus YA.
Continue.
That would be minus YB minus XB.
Good. Now, can you explain what you just did there and why?
I put the two terms with A on one side, the two terms with B on the other side.
Okay, so because we have to get A to be the subject, we want all the A terms to be together on one side. Does that make sense, Nixon?
Yeah.
Right, because that's what we did here, but it just was easier looking because there were numbers there. The moment we put letters all over the place, everyone panics. You've got to think of it the same way. You're going, I'm going to get all my A's together on one side. Right? So if you're having trouble with this, just write that down. Get all A's with a red pen over here. Together on one side. Okay. Who thinks they know what happens next? Darcy.
Do we remove the x and the y on the left side?
And what do I write over there?
So it'd be a plus a. A minus ya.
So you're just going to take that x off, are you?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, like if we have something like this, are you just going to remove that for fun? Does it make any sense to do that? No. What makes sense? Lachlan?
Could we factorise?
Yep, let's go.
So would it be A, and then in the brackets X minus YA?
Why is it YA?
Oh, X minus Y
Keep going.
equals B in the brackets minus.
Now you can do that over here, but you don't have to. So I'm not going to do it just because it's an extra thing that you might just muck it up. So let's just leave that. Now, so the next step, what actually happened here is you have to get A written once somehow. Because how are you going to isolate it to be written as a subject with A equals if you haven't got it down to just written down once? You can't, okay? So the only way that's going to happen is you think about a common factor. And that actually gets it written down once. Right? So look at that. We had two of them, but when we took it out as a common factor, it becomes one of them, doesn't it? So now you've only got it written once. Who can tell me the next line? Sean.
Can you do A equals minus YB minus FB over
Oops.
X minus Y?
Over what, sorry?
X minus Y.
Perfect. And that's your answer. Now, the question said, get that to be the subject. And we did. It is the subject. Is it written in the simplest form it could be in? No. But we've done what they said. So they have to give you full marks in a test for that. But we might just go a little bit further and see if we can do anything extra here. Actually, just thinking ahead, I don't think we can, so that's it anyway.
Can you cancel out like the X's and the Y's?
Not when it's standing like that. But what I was thinking, don't write this down, but what I was thinking is if we had went ahead and whoever was telling me to do this, I can't remember now. What I was thinking is that these might have been identical, but let me take the negative out. But they're not identical. So it makes no difference to go any further with that one. Occasionally though, those would have been identical. I would have then gone, put the brackets around. If they were identical, I would have then cancelled to simplify it. But they've only asked you to make A the subject, so we can stop there anyway, even without thinking any further. Any questions? All right, now that question's hard, so I want you just to write down that it is hard, but it does need to be looked at. You're not going to just know these things. Let's have a go at another harder question. Right, so your subject is going to be A. Now, Nixon, I want you to have a go at something this time. Don't just go, I don't know. I don't want to see anyone do anything silly. I don't want to see anyone crossing those out, right? We cannot cancel those A's, right? You can only do that if you have one term on the top and one term on the bottom. There is no cancelling. Now, just do something. Even if you think it leads nowhere, off you go. Anyone still over here on the left? And if you think you've got it out, just put your pen down so I can see you have. And I don't want to see anyone just sitting there waiting. Okay. Okay, so you've got to get A to be the subject on this one. So somehow you have to get your A's together, but if you can't see it yet, do something that's going to make it change a little bit. Alright? Do something. Everyone has to do something. Jesse,
I have a question.
what is it?
For the way that I did it. I'm just not sure about if I actually have brackets.
Why don't you start me off and we'll see what you have done.
I just did m times, under that I did m times 2a plus n. And I'm not sure if there's a bracket between.
There is a bracket because when you're doing that, remember anything on top or bottom that's more than one term must be in brackets. Do you remember that rule?
Yeah.
Okay, so make sure you've got that. Alright, and what's on the right hand side, Jesse?
Equals 5a.
Alright, can you continue for me? go.
Would you go 2am plus mn
Yeah,
equals 5a,
okay.
and then
Now, before you go any further, see how this one you've written as 2am? I'm just going to reverse that and write it like this, and you'll see why in a minute, okay? Because if we're looking at the A being our letter needs to be at the end of each term. So that needs to be at the end. Can you see that?
yeah,
Okay. Who can tell me the next thing that's going to happen here? Jack.
Would it be 2ma equals 5a minus mn?
Now, you've got to tell me why you're doing that. So why are you bringing the mn over here?
I'm not 100% sure why,
If you-
but I just feel like that's the right way to do it.
Okay, well, I want you to have a look at what we did up here and then rethink what you're telling me.
Oh, well, we have to get the 5a across.
That's better. So have a go at it now.
Maybe, 2ma minus 5a equals minus mn.
Good. That's much better. See, because now you've got your A's together. We need these A terms on the same side. All right, who can tell me now what happens? Maxim?
Could you divide both sides by m to cancel that?
No, I don't want you doing anything that you think just might make it look a bit better. I want you to concentrate on what we're doing. We have to make A the subject. That's our priority. Siobhan,
Factorize.
go.
A bracket 5 minus 2m.
Have a look at the way I've written it here.
A 2m minus 5
That's better. Equals.
negative mn.
Continue.
And
Next line.
then A equals negative mn over 2n minus 5.
Perfect. Oops. So we have got the A by itself. We've got A to be the subject. That's it. Full marks. Now, in the back of the textbook, will they have that answer? Probably not, so you won't know that you're actually okay. But what they will do, they'll take it a bit further. See these two negatives? They just don't like negatives all over the place. So if we take out that negative there, can just be moved out the front. Right? Because it's just one term there, you can move it out the front and you can actually give it to the bottom like this. But that's got to be in brackets. Now, if we expand those brackets, it'll look like this. And if you look in the back of the book answers, it'll probably look like this. Right? You just have to get used to the fact that their answer might look a bit different to yours. In an exam, you've made A the subject, that's full marks. If you want to play around with it to get to the answer that the textbook has, go for your life. Any questions? Okay. All right, we might leave it at those and then we'll just move on to the next part. So you're going to practice more of those tonight, boys, but these steps are really important on the harder questions, so make sure you got this written down in red, okay? And the main thing is, if you've got no idea what you're doing, do something. It'll often get you started and you'll be able to do what you're supposed to be doing then. Okay, this is our next thing we're doing in the same topic. I'm not writing all the notes down because we did this last year. We're going straight into examples. So there's two parts to this, but we're doing it all in one go. This is the big long heading. Okay, we're going straight to examples. Okay, anyone still in the middle of the board here? We've all got this written down? You right, Nate?
Yeah.
You see all right? Okay, so in the question, there's two things that have to be done. I don't want people losing marks because they didn't see they had to do the graph. A lot of people, that happens too. So you're solving it and graphing it. You'll lose marks if you don't do the graph, and that's the easiest bit. All right, so you're going to keep the greater than or equal to there, like we did last year. So we're going to solve our equation, just keep the greater than or equal to through your working instead of the equal sign. Keep going till you got me an answer. Don't know how many lines it is, but eventually you're going to get down to x is greater than or equal to something. Off you go. Right, Richard, start us off.
So you get rid of the brackets, you do 3x plus 6, 9.
Keep going.
And then you bring the 6 across over to the 9, so it'd be 9 minus 6.
Yep.
And so that'd be 3x, 3. And then you just divide by 3 by 3, which would be
And you get
1.
1. And we're going to a number line. You need a straight line for the number line. So make sure you've got a ruler. Alright, so we're drawing a number line. Arrowheads on the end. Whatever the letter is goes on the bottom there, X. We need a 1 on it, but we need another number for a reference point. I normally would use a 0 unless the 0 is involved. And you probably don't need a ruler for this bit. You've got group books anyway. Let's put a 0, put the 1 that we need. Okay, and we've got X is greater than or equal to 1. So we put a circle on the 1, colour it in because it's equals. We colour it in if there's an equals there because it has to include the answer of 1. And the line goes greater than 1, so we go to the right. And there's your graph. Any questions? Okay. You can copy down the next one. Alright, keep the less than there. Do what you normally do with an equation. Off you go. And when you get to the end of that, before you go to the graph, we'll just check you're right. Okay, anyone still on the left here? Okay, Adrian, start us off.
2x minus x,
Excellent.
9 minus 3,
Good, continue.
x, 6.
Less than. Good, and that's finished. And now we're going to the number line. Use your ruler, arrowheads, X on one end. We need a 6 this time, and I normally have a 0 for my other point. 0, 6. Okay, this time we're putting our circle on the 6, but we don't colour it in because there's no equals here. So it doesn't include the answer of 6, so that's why we're not colouring it in. And less than goes to the left. There's all the numbers less than 6, and put your arrowhead on the end. Okay, number 3. Okay, now you need to watch me on this because otherwise you'll probably get it wrong because we've got one exception to the rule. So we solve it like a normal equation, keeping our inequality sign all the way through our working. But there's one exception and we're going to get that on this question. All right, who can start us here? Alex, what do you think?
You move the 5 over,
Okay,
so minus x to minus 5,
continue.
and then it's minus x, and then negative 3.
Good, stop there. All right, now this is where the rule comes in. Can anyone remember what it is? Nate?
Well, can you just take the negative from the x to the other side?
So what will I write then?
Well, it'll just be x equals positive 3, just when you take the negative over, and the...
Well, it won't be equals positive 3.
X
So-
is less than or equals to 3.
So this is what Nate thinks it's going to be. We'll see if he's right. Okay, that's what you reckon it's going to be?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think. All right, we'll see in a minute, won't we? All right, so watching? Okay, now in front here, we've got a 1. Right, so just write that in, and this is a times in here. So we're actually getting rid of the times minus 1 so that we can get the x by itself. So the opposite of timesing by minus 1, watch, don't write the sign, just watch, is dividing by minus 1. So we write that over here. Okay? Now, the rule is, just move this around a bit. The rule is, when you times or divide by a negative number, you have to reverse the inequality sign. So write this in red down the side, boys, so you can see what that rule was. We did do it last year, but we need to go over it. Okay, so that's what we're actually doing here. We're dividing by a negative. So the rule comes into play here. So we're going to reverse that less than or equals, and it's now going to become a greater than or equal. And you can work out your right-hand side now, and it's 3. Were you right, Nate?
No.
No. Because that's what will happen. People forget to reverse the sign. Has anyone got any questions? All right, I'm going to do another one where you'll need to use that rule. So copy this one down.
Do we have to do a graph for that one?
Do a what?
Graph the question.
Oh, you do have to do a graph, sorry. Draw a graph first and then copy this one down. What's the graph look like, Lachlan?
Would it be 70 added 0 in?
Okay, we're going to have a 0, yep, and what other number?
3.
3. Let me put those on. Now tell me what to do.
Would you circle around the 3 and arrow in so it could be greater than or equal?
Yeah, because of the equals, it includes the 3. Yep. And which way are we going?
To the right.
To the right, it's greater than. All the greater than numbers are up here. Any questions? All okay? Now see how quickly I nearly forgot to draw that graph, didn't I? That's what happens in tests. Okay, so I would have just lost 1 mark for not doing an easy graph like that. So really go through and make sure you've done everything they asked. Okay, we're doing this one now, boys, so let's see who can do this. You will be using this rule. We'll see if you can work out when it's used. Off you go. Stop when you get your answer before you do your graph so we can see if it's okay. Is there anyone still in the middle with number 1? Alright, Oliver, start me off here.
Do you move over the -2?
Yep,
So it's x.
and over here?
And then it's 6 over -2.
Yes, continue.
Yeah. Do you change it to x greater than?
You do, explain why.
Because there's a negative in it.
Not because there's a negative in it, what's the rule say?
When you times you divide,
So what are you doing? You're timesing or dividing?
dividing.
We're dividing by that negative, so we can use the rule. Alright, continue. X is greater than?
X is greater than 3.
No?
Negative 3.
Negative 3, and now you can all do the graph for that one, and then start number 5. Make sure you do this graph first. Does anyone still need 2 or 3? Zach, you right?
Yeah.
Where are you up to?
5.
Okay. Start the work. Don't forget to do a graph on this one when you finish it. Be very careful with number 6. I'm just doing the graph for number 4. Make sure you've your -3's on the left of your 0. It's in the wrong spot, but we won't get any marks. Open circle because there's no equals. Greater than goes to the right. Any questions on the graph? Okay, next one, Toby, number 5.
So you take the 3 over,
Yep.
and then it'd be minus x is, and then it'd be minus 4 times 3,
Yeah.
and then that work out to be 12. Oh, negative 12.
Okay, what's the sign in the middle?
The same as above.
Same as above because we're not timesing by a negative. Continue.
And then, so you take the negative 1 over, and then it'd be minus 12 over minus 1,
Good.
and then you flip the sign,
Now we flip the sign. Good. And I'll
and
just,
then it'd
just
be
wait.
positive x.
I'll catch up to you. Hold on. Right, because we're dividing by the negative, that's why we're reversing the sign. Continue. Your
And
answer?
then it'd be x equals 12.
Greater than or equal to 12.
Yeah,
Good. Anyone got any questions? And it's greater than or equal to, so we want to colour it in circle because it includes the 12. We're going to greater numbers. They're all up here. Any questions? Ryan, start me off on number 6.
So first you times by -3.
right?
And you also flip the sign.
Flip the sign, why?
You get your times by minus.
Because we times by a negative. Continue. What's on the left-hand side?
Minus p plus 2.
Good, continue.
And
What's over here now?
then there's a minus, so just the 6.
6, continue.
Then you minus 2.
Yeah? Oh, told you the answer there, but anyway. So 6 minus 2, what's on the left?
Minus p.
What do we do here?
Same sign.
Same sign, good. We haven't multiplied or divided by anything. What's that equal?
4
Continue.
divided by minus 1.
Yeah?
And you also flip the sign.
So what do we do?
You flip the sign.
Flip the sign, your final answer?
P is less than minus 4.
Good. So we have a 0. We have a minus 4 over here somewhere. Open circle, we're not including it, and we're going to the less than, so we're going to the left here. Oops. Any questions? Good work. That question was hard because you had a lot going on in that, and we had to flip the sign twice in the one question. Where I've written in orange, we had to flip that twice. So you've got to be careful not to flip it at the wrong time. Okay, your homework's over here. You can take a photo of that. It will be on Compass later, but it's not there at the moment.